So let's talk about doubles and floats. Again, I'm going to create a new playground here. Call this doubles. And double we can create in the following words. Say let double value is equals. Actually, I'm going to say that this is double because by default Swift may interpret this as a float. So double, I'm going to say it's equals to 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we say var float value is type of float, and this is equals to 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's exactly the same number. And let's see what's the difference when it comes to using a float or a double. If I say print, then I say double value is, and then I use my string interpolation and put here double value. And if I copy this and paste it here and say float value is, and here I say float value, and if I run, you will see that both numbers are identical. So it prints from 1 to 9 and 0.1 to 9. But if I were to add another of the same, so we put more characters here, more numbers, and if I print it again, now you will see that my double value is, and we print more characters here. Unlike our float value, it prints until 7. Actually, I am missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it holds less numbers. So our float are less precise. So if you are going to do some really detailed calculation, it's always good to use double. Otherwise, you can stick with floats, which are actually a little bit less heavy on the application because they save less amount of information. But in general, if you are using them not very heavily in your application throughout the application, I don't know how many doubles you have to use in order for application to get some memory issues, especially with nowadays hardware that every iPhone that has processor even faster than some computers used a few years ago. So I don't think you will have any issues. So what I generally suggest is you just stick to doubles. They are more precise, and just keep using all the time doubles and you don't use floats there. Also, when it comes to doubles, you can easily use the calculation between the two doubles. So if I say like var double 2 is, again we say it's type of double, and it goes to 0.2, and then I can say let my value is equals to double value plus double 2. Double. And if I run this, it will give me the value of my calculation here. It will take them and add them to each other. So these are floats and values. Again, if you I will suggest you to use doubles all the time. They are more precise and they are not really heavy on memory, so you won't notice anything there. But if you want to keep your application as light as possible and you don't need very precise numbers, okay, you can go ahead and use floats instead of doubles. So, for example, I may ask why we don't use integers instead of doubles, because var int, and if we say it's a type of int, and this is equals to 2, you cannot say that the integer is equals to 2.3. Integers are only whole numbers, while doubles and floats can be a decimal point numbers. So if I run, it will give me an error here that cannot convert it, set the int to be 2.3. Also, what we can do, for example, when you take a double, which is the double 2, and if I convert it to integer, so let's say let my new int is equals, and I'm going to create an integer, and I'm going to convert my double to an integer. I'm going to take my double 2 and convert this to an integer. So if I say print, and I say here double, and then I print my double 2, and then I say int and print my int, even though I have converted my double to an integer, you will see the difference here. So let's say print, and we are running. Let's see, it will take a few seconds to run. It says my double is 2.2, but when it comes to converting the double into integer, it just takes the whole number and ignores the decimal value there. So even if it was 2.9, which is really close to 3, then the 2, it just ignores the decimal number and returns the whole number here. So this is the difference between integers, doubles, and floats. When you want to count some specific things, it's always good to use integer if you are sure that they cannot be like point something. For example, if you are counting people, you cannot say there are 1.5 people there. But if you are saying I am buying apples, I can say there are 2.9 kilos of apples, but not specific 2 or 3 kilos of apples. So there are different places where you are going to use different types.